So I recorded this entire video under the premise that you could no longer buy this capture card, so I'm gonna say a lot of stuff resembling that. However, Mokose has updated their website and it's now available again and on sale, although a little bit more than it used to cost. I don't know how many they have or how long it will stay on sale, but if you want to pick it up, it looks like direct from their website is your only option at this time. Most of pretty much everything else I say still matters, but I wanted to throw this in here. Today's capture card review is one that I feel like everyone should have access to, especially with cam links being currently unavailable. This is a fantastic card that I wish everybody could buy, but you might have a little bit of trouble actually getting a hold of it. We're going to talk about the Mokose U70S after a word from this video's sponsor. This video is brought to you by Nerd or Die. You knew there was going to be an ad in this video. I just had a baby. I got bills to pay. Nerd or Die is having a beat the clock sale at the moment where you can get 25% off some amazing stream layouts. I even used the Nerd or Die Synthwave chat box for my streams because I really just had a hard time getting a chat box put together. They've got 15% off store-wide, 25% off specific packages, and they even have specific stream overlays for as low as $2. Head over to EposVox.gg/nerdordie to learn more and sign up today. I'm EposVox, your stream professor, and this is the Mokose U70S, or USB 3.0 HD video capture. This is a capture card I technically started reviewing back in 2018. This is what happens when I have a never-ending list of priorities, and things that don't have set deadlines or what have you ends up getting pushed down to the bottom and eventually forgotten about until I can finally get around to it. So pick this up, well, actually it was gifted to me by Intel in a little care package I opened back in 2018, and it's a nifty little card. It was originally $150, and it does some pretty cool stuff. It has some drawbacks, but it is pretty powerful for the price. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about these, no name or not major brand name capture cards that are actually very difficult to get a hold of consistently, so it makes it hard for me to review. But after having talked about it on the community tab of the YouTube channel, you guys said you wanted to see these reviews anyway, so we're taking a look at this one. Specs wise, this is a 1080p 60 FPS UVC and UAC. We'll talk about what that means in a moment. USB 3.0 capture card. It actually uses a USB 3 type A to A cable, like the Magewell cards. Really annoying because I only have like 2 of those and they're really short and it's just a dumb cable to use, but apparently it's cheaper if they reuse the same part, the same headers. I don't know. And then it has 1080p 60 HDMI input and output. It will not do any scaling from 4K. It won't do any PC high refresh rate stuff or 1440p or anything like that. It is a 1080p capture card through and through, although it does support lower resolutions, of course, as well. It has a headphone and a microphone, or a headphone output and a microphone input along with this, and then you have LED indicators for microphone status, input status, output status, USB status, things like that. And it's in this nice little metal box. Doesn't get too warm. Pretty nice package overall. This thing originally cost $150. Already said that. Pretty competitive. This is a YUY2 capture card, which means it operates in the 422 color space and provides an uncompressed stream to your processor, which means it operates lower latency, is a lot easier for your computer to process and deal with on the whole, and this is what you want out of a capture card. So kudos there, because I always like seeing that. It also supports 20 FPS or 24 FPS, which is great for you filmmaker folks. Although you still can't stream to YouTube in 24 FPS, it upscales it, or interpolates it to 30, which looks really bad. But if you're doing captures with it, you can use 24 FPS with this. It works with 1080p, 1080i, 720p, and then I went ahead and tested it with the OSSC and then the weird OSSC mode support as well. So this capture card touts some sort of low res support, but the OSSC, oh boy, was that not supported at all. I sort of could see what was sort of happening on the image, but oh my God. So no, it won't work with the OSSC. That's a notch against it being the perfect capture card, I guess. So one cool other thing about this capture card is that it actually supports USB 2 as well as USB 3. This is kind of interesting. They talk about it in the manual quite a few times, and I was a little suspicious, and using the front panel ports on my desktop, I was only getting a black screen, but hooking it up on another computer, and sure enough, I can detect and use a video signal over USB 2. Now, unfortunately, it does not support any more USB 2 friendly compression modes like NV12 or MJPEG or anything like that. It is YUY2 only. So that means while I can set it to 1920 by 1080 at 29.97 FPS in YUI2, clearly it's not maintaining that full frame rate. The USB bandwidth just isn't enough for that. But if I drop the resolution down to say 720 by 480, it's getting the full 30 FPS in YUI2 over USB. Or USB 2. Kind of impressive. So UVC and UAC, what this means is that it's a capture card that will work plug and play on any operating system, Windows, Mac, or Linux, and will work with video calling apps like Skype, Zoom, Discord, what have you, that Windows 10 camera app that only wants to support specifically webcams or UVC devices. That's what that driver is. So it's plug and play. You don't need to install anything, although they do supposedly have the ability to update the firmware over USB. I didn't see any major firmware updates, but that's a thing. But UAC is the audio side of that because it actually installs two different audio devices for the capture card. It has the HDMI input audio capture, which is of course obligatory for capturing the HDMI video feed. If your game console or camera or what have you is running through this, it's going to pick up that audio, but it also installs a separate audio device for the microphone. Most capture cards don't do this. I've actually been very annoyed at how many capture cards have a microphone input, but then require you to mix it with their own software, or it's just hard mixed in the thing, or what have you. I've heavily praised the Razer Ripsaw HD for doing this as well, because most capture cards these days don't. This one does, which gives you a lot more flexibility in your audio recording and routing, be it in your video call if you have a headset hooked up, or in OBS if you want to keep your game and microphone sounds separate while still using this as a headset interface for your capture. It also means if you're using it for a camera, then you can just run a dedicated microphone in here and sync the two up, and for the most part, be good to go. Testing the preview latency of this capture card, when I originally tested it at some point last year when I did my first wave of capture card testing, I got an absurdly fast speed of about 46 milliseconds, which made it one of the fastest capture cards I ever tested, which is very impressive. My most recent round of testing, I went back and retested just to be safe. I'm getting about 64 milliseconds of input latency. So I'm not sure if it was the USB port I was using or if I just had that number backwards, 46, 64. But I'm gonna do a couple more tests, and if those numbers actually end up lining up with the older number, I'll roll with that. You'll see on the graph where it falls in terms of latency, but it's a fairly fast capture card. You don't have to worry about too much audio sync issues, and that's pretty nice as well. My only real complaints about this capture card are that it has an offline screen that has just basic color bars, and then they flicker like brightness in and out. The gameplay doesn't flicker brightness, but the offline screen does. That would probably be very annoying and distracting if you have this set up in a stream and your signal cuts out or whatever. Having that displayed, that might bother some people. Overall, it's fine. My other issue is that the color reproduction on this, for whatever reason, is not amazing. It feels a little washed out, a little not how it should look in terms of contrast or saturation. But you can tweak this. You can either tweak this on the capture card itself through the normal Windows, or it should be available on other operating systems, but the UVC controls, which give you brightness, contrast, and so on, controls over the capture device. Or in OBS or your streaming platform, you can add a filter that adds color correction and boosts some of that back up to getting nice and neat. So I don't consider it a huge deal because you can adjust for it, but it is theoretically a less desirable picture than other capture cards. But overall, in the package you're getting, for 150 bucks, you're getting basically a cam link with pass-through and audio hookups. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, my experience with the audio hookups have not been great. I get the feeling it's just the microphone that I'm using. I'm using the Sennheiser PC37X gaming headset. Running that in here, I had some issues with it like cutting out. This is a microphone test using the Sennheiser PC37X gaming headset microphone plugged directly into the Mokose USB capture card here. Testing. 1, 2, 3. I had to reduce the audio levels to about 70%. But I feel like the value for it, especially in the context of today's market where every capture card is pretty much bought out, including this one, and the prices are all over the place and things like that, that the value for this that you get of both being great for game consoles and cameras and what have you is really freaking phenomenal, which makes me so bummed that you can't buy it. This is kind of, I guess, a punishment to me for not having covered it 2 years ago when I actually received it and started reviewing it, because it seems to be sold out everywhere, and I question if it's even being made anymore. Like I said, you all wanted to see it anyway, according to your responses on my community post, but it's sold out on Amazon. I had to do some funky searching to actually find the Amazon listing. It's currently unavailable. Walmart has it. Apparently it was sold at Walmart, but the listing for it says it's $460, but also out of stock. don't pay $460 for a capture card like this. Even the AliExpress page has it out of stock. So I get the feeling Mokose isn't making it anymore. I would like to send a message to them to say, hey, we could kind of use this right now. So if you have the ability to spin these back up for fairly cheap, maybe consider doing so. I am interested to see what other capture devices they have coming out. They also make some of those little UVC little C-mount cameras and stuff like that that some of you have requested I review. I have one of them. I don't know if it's from Mokose, but I have one of those on the way from AliExpress as well. But this is a great capture card, a great Camlink alternative that unfortunately you can't buy, and that's pretty disappointing. Hope you enjoyed today's capture card review. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe for more tech education and stream guides. This is my first video I've recorded on camera since my baby was born. Things are a mess right now. I'm a mess right now, but I'm trying to keep content going. I just really wanted to talk about this, get it out of the way. I'm trying to get through as much of my backlog as possible. Some of the boxes I have in the background of my shots and things like that are either stacks of review units that I literally can't put anywhere else. And even if I did, I would have the whole out of sight, out of mind thing and never actually get to reviewing them. Or it was stuff that I was selling on eBay. I'll have a link to my eBay page in the description below just in case there's anything left. But I've listed like 20 things on eBay so far that I've needed to get rid of and just hadn't got around to. And you guys have been buying it up really, really fast, mainly because I'm selling it super cheap. But hey, I really appreciate it. It helps a lot and helps me get this stuff out of here. So I'll have a link to that in the description below. Down there, you also find links to Floatplane, where you can subscribe for early access and behind the scenes content, and my new upcoming course. You can subscribe to be notified when that's available. It'll cover everything you need to know about streaming. Like I said, I'm EposVox, your stream professor. I'll have what product links I can in the description below for this. Let me know if you found it anywhere else, because I would love to hear, or if you've used it before, because it was out for quite a long time. Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you next time.